Welcome to Power Plays Network, where history's greatest power moves come to life. If you want to master strategy, influence, and success, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Let's dive in.
Napoleon Bonaparte, the name alone carries power. A man who rose from a low-ranking military officer to the Emperor of France, commanding the most dominant military force in the world. His name is forever etched in history not just for his battles, but for his unparalleled understanding of power, strategy, and human nature. How did he do it? What power plays did he use to dominate Europe and shape the modern world? And more importantly, how can you apply his strategies in business, leadership, and life? This is the power play that made Napoleon invincible. Chapter 1: Born for Power, Early Life and Rise. Napoleon's story starts in Corsica, an island under French control. He wasn't born into power or privilege. In fact, he came from a relatively modest family. But what he lacked in birthright, he made up for in intelligence, ambition, and a ruthless understanding of power. From a young age, Napoleon had a sharp mind and an unbreakable will. At the French Military Academy, he excelled in mathematics, history, and, most importantly, warfare strategy. He was a student of history, obsessively studying the great conquerors like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. He understood that power was never given, it had to be taken. When the French Revolution erupted, Napoleon saw an opportunity rather than chaos. While France was burning, he adapted, finding his way into the military ranks. And here's the first lesson from Napoleon. Power play number 1. Master the art of opportunity. Most people see crisis as a time to retreat. Napoleon saw it as a chance to rise. Every great leader understands that moments of chaos create the perfect conditions for bold action. Napoleon took advantage of the revolution's instability to rapidly climb the ranks, showing his ability in battle and gaining the trust of influential people. Chapter 2: The Power of Speed and Surprise. Napoleon's genius wasn't just in military tactics. It was in his ability to outthink and outmaneuver his opponents before they even knew what was happening. His battle strategy was based on two simple but devastating principles. Rather than following traditional military formations and slow marches, Napoleon moved his troops rapidly across vast distances. He didn't wait for the enemy to come to him, he went to them before they were ready. Power play number 2. Move fast and strike first. Napoleon's armies moved twice as fast as his enemies. While they were still setting up their lines, he was already attacking from unexpected angles. This same principle applies in business and competition. Speed kills. The faster you act while your competitors are still planning, the more power you gain. Chapter 3: Control the narrative. Napoleon wasn't just a military genius, he was a master of perception. He knew that controlling the story was just as important as controlling the battlefield. He carefully crafted his image, portraying himself as the hero of the people, the defender of the revolution, and the rightful ruler of France. He manipulated newspapers, controlled information, and used propaganda to make himself look unstoppable. Power play number 3. Dominate the narrative. In any position of power, controlling the story around you is key. If you don't shape your own image, someone else will do it for you, and it won't be flattering. Napoleon understood that perception becomes reality, and he used that to fuel his rise. Chapter 4: The Emperor's Strategy, Isolate and Destroy. Napoleon didn't just fight wars, he engineered them to his advantage. His most famous power play was his strategy of divide and conquer. Rather than taking on all of his enemies at once, Napoleon knew that every coalition against him was fragile. Different nations had different interests and they didn't fully trust each other. He exploited this by isolating his enemies and taking them down one by one. At the Battle of Austerlitz, he tricked the enemy into thinking his forces were weak, drawing them into a trap and completely annihilating them. This wasn't just a battle victory, it was a psychological war, making every European ruler fear him. Power play number 4, divide and conquer. When facing opposition, never attack all your enemies at once. Instead, isolate them, weaken them, and take them down one by one. Chapter 5. Know when to stop. Despite his genius, Napoleon made one fatal mistake. He didn't know when to stop. He had conquered almost all of Europe, yet he kept pushing for more. He invaded Russia, not realizing that the vast size, brutal winter, and stretched supply lines would lead to his downfall. His once unstoppable army was destroyed. His enemies united against him. And in the end, he was exiled to a tiny island far from the empire he built. Power play number 5. Know when to hold power and when to consolidate. Power is about control, not endless expansion. Sometimes the strongest move is to secure what you have before reaching for more. Napoleon's mistake serves as a lesson. Don't overreach. Know when to consolidate power rather than risk losing it all. Chapter 6. Napoleon's legacy and how you can apply his power plays. Napoleon's story didn't end in defeat. His ideas, strategies, and lessons still shape the world today. His military tactics are studied in every war college. His leadership principles influence business titans. His power plays can be applied to your own life, whether in business, leadership, negotiation, or personal ambition. Fire recap of Napoleon's power plays. Keycap 1. Master the art of opportunity. Seize chaos to rise above the rest. Keycap 2. Move fast and strike first. Speed and surprise give you the advantage. Point 3. Dominate the narrative. Control perception to maintain power. Keycap 4. Divide and conquer. Break down opposition instead of fighting everyone at once. Point 5. Know when to stop. Power isn't just about taking. It's about holding on to what you've built. Napoleon Bonaparte wasn't just a general, he was a master of power, strategy, and ambition. His tactics remain as relevant today as they were 200 years ago. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, or just trying to get ahead in life, Napoleon's power plays can be your blueprint for domination. What's your next move?
Power is everywhere, if you know where to look. Every move you make shapes your future. Learn the game, master the strategy, and rise above the rest. If you found value in today's power play, don't just watch, apply it. Hit that like button, subscribe to Power Plays Network, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new law of power in action. Your next move determines your destiny. Choose wisely.